Hello. Welcome to part 3 of the overview of the human ideasphere. In our last session, we talked about how people built an ecosystem parallel to that of the natural ecosystem. I call it the ideasphere because it is based on the human idea. Scientists often describe the natural ecosystem as a network of living entities held in place by resources. This is true. We can describe the ideasphere similarly as a network of ideas held in place by people. Both of these statements are true, of course, but they are not particularly helpful in seeing the parallels between the systems. Let's rearrange the facts our scientists have provided and view them in a different light. Let's organize nature into concentric circles based on how they are organized. This chart arranges the natural ecosystem using this concentric circle approach. DNA is at the very center of life on Earth, but DNA itself is not alive. All life forms exist because they can use DNA to process information about their environment and turn it into a response that enables them to survive. DNA is at the core of life. It is the instruction book for life. A genome is the complete set of DNA instructions for a living being. The cell in the third ring is the beginning of what we call life. Life started as a single cell, which was able to read the DNA instructions and put them into action. That was so successful that life thrived. With time, cells transformed into more complex forms. Tissues and organs are living cells that work together to perform an efficient function in a body. A body is a collection of cells made of tissues and organs that become a unit of its own. Above a body, there are things like colonies. Colonies, like a beehive, use a construction where the individual bees act to keep the hive itself alive. Outside of colonies, there is no other organization. What remains is the Earth as its own ecosystem. Life makes sense this way. We can see how each larger circle was dependent on the inner circles that came before them. The ideasphere works much the same way, but centers on human ideas instead of DNA. When humans make a physical representation of an idea, like a book or a building or a spaceship, they are putting their ideas into a tangible form that can be shared with others. Every invention holds meaning. That is, it carries the ideas with it. That is how ideas are passed on to other humans. Our minds are a collection of the ideas which we accumulate over our lifetimes. And just like a cell needs many parts to convert a DNA instruction into action, our ideas need a human to convert an idea into a real thing. As cells are the basic form of life in the ecosystem, people are the basic form of life in the ideasphere. Humans have been very successful at surviving, and over time, they've developed more ways to process their ideas. They've created institutions where people come together to turn ideas into products. They have created countries and societies in which people share ideas about how to live together. Some countries have even joined to create multinational unions to improve their chances of living together. Above that level, there is a possibility that we could create a world society, but we have not done so yet. And above that, there is no level of organization. There just exists a universe of ideas all floating around, being shared by people. That is the ideasphere. Looking at life and humans this way, we can see the parallel construction of both ecosystems. This makes sense. Nature always moves this way, from simple to complex. Nature uses simple forms as a base to build more complex forms. I don't think we should be surprised that the information that humans create operates the same way as the information nature creates. Because we were able to think quite early, and it took a long time for scientists to figure out how nature actually works, we filled in all our questions about why humans are different with answers that were completely unrelated to nature. Religion, mythology, lore, philosophy. All these human-created ideas exist to answer that one question, why? Why do we exist? those answers have still left us with questions. Human history is not wholly successful. In fact, I think it is safe to say that the human power to think is a double-edged sword. Our manipulation of the world has led to both remarkable advancements and existential threats such as climate change, pollution, and the risk of nuclear annihilation. Nature uses very specific rules to make sure that all cells work in tandem in a body, or all bees work in tandem to support a hive. I contend that to thrive, humans must learn nature's survival strategies and adapt them to fit our own unique capabilities. We know nature's rules, but what we have not done is use them as a basis for human action. To do so, we must make these rules compatible to account for the human ability to think and create ideas. Once we do that, we can get a clear idea of how humans can survive in the Ideasphere. I call this application of nature's rules to human life the ideal sphere. We stand at a crossroads right now. Understanding our place in the universe is important, but understanding our ability to make a new choice about the future is crucial. By anchoring ourselves in scientific truths of nature and embracing our capacity for ideas, we can forge a new path towards a sustainable future. So that's the overview of the Ideasphere. In the following episodes, we will delve into all of these concepts in more detail. Next week, in the beginning. Thanks for joining me.